Now live from the KAKE studios, this is KAKE News on your side at 6.
We're tracking breaking news at this hour from just west of the city of Mulvane. Investigators on the scene of a crash.
The collision happened about an hour ago at 199th Street South and Oliver. We have a crew headed to the scene. We will bring you more information as soon as it becomes available. In August, the KU School of Medicine here in Wichita became a trial site for the Oxford AstraZeneca COVID-19 vaccine.
After a brief delay due to a patient experiencing complications, local trials just resumed. KAKE's Jackson Overstreet has our story.
David Storm is going over his medical history with a nurse, but it is not for a physical or other health check. He's taking part in a COVID-19 vaccine trial. Storm is a veteran who served in the war in Iraq. He says that same drive that moved him to serve his country motivated him to take part in the trial.
I'm a veteran, and a lot of the veterans are in the at-risk age. So I just thought that it would be a good opportunity to help my brothers in arms.
The trial here in Wichita is for the Oxford AstraZeneca vaccine. Local efforts were just getting underway in August when a global pause of the trial happened because of a participant in England who had a negative reaction. The FDA and an independent research board investigated the case and cleared doctors to resume their work.
Our number one priority as researchers and scientists doing this work is we want to make sure that we are focused on participant safety.
Because of the pause, local trials at the KU School of Medicine only resumed at the end of October. They are now looking for more participants. So far, 15 people like David have signed up. Their goal is to get to 200.
The more data we have, the more we can understand, is this safe and is this going to be effective?
The trial is open to anyone, but they are encouraging groups that are high risk to the virus to sign up, such as people over the age of 65, African Americans, Latinos, or someone who interacts with the public on a consistent basis.
As I've said before, people that participate in clinical trials truly are heroes.
In Wichita, Jackson Overstreet, KAKE News on your side.
2 of every 3 participants will receive the vaccine, with the rest giving a placebo. Researchers say even with high participation, the timeline for a vaccine from this trial is most likely the fall of 2021. If you'd like to participate, we will have all the information on our website at kake.com. And here are the latest numbers from COVID-19. Not as many new positive cases over the weekend, but numbers are still up. Another 5,600 Kansans have tested positive since Monday, for a total now of more than 109,000. 34 new deaths push that total over 1,200. And here in Sedgwick County, more than 800 new cases since Monday, and the positive test rate now tops 22%.
Stay with KAKE News for continuing coverage of the coronavirus pandemic on air and online at kake.com/coronavirus. Continuing coverage now of reports that Greg Marshall is on his way out as basketball coach at Wichita State University. KAKE Sports Director Chris Lilly is here with the very latest tonight. Chris.
Here's what I know. No one at Wichita State could confirm that the school and Greg Marshall plan on parting ways by the end of next week. But from my conversations with sources, WSU is working behind the scenes on plans that point to a possible coaching opening. All of this comes after last night's report from Jeff Goodman that WSU and Marshall would part ways in the coming days. People I talked with in the program were surprised by this news. WSU launched an internal investigation into Marshall more than a month ago for alleged abuse of players, and we're still awaiting those results. And despite not making any moves yet with Marshall, I'm told WSU has started to reach out to agents of other coaches. I'll have the list of names floating around if this job were to come open, and what some former players want a little later in sports. From the studio, Chris Lilly, KAKE News on your side.
And Shocker basketball is expected to hold its season opener just 2 weeks from today. Some Wichita State students say Marshall or no Marshall, the bleachers will be filled with loyal fans.
I don't think it'll affect them too much personally, because we do have some good fans and they're like ride or dies for them. But it'll definitely be a new thing to get adjusted to without Marshall, especially all the success he brought to Wichita State.
Marshall does have a strong support system in Kansas. County Commissioner Pete Meitzner tells KAKE News he's known the coach and his wife for years, and they are, quote, fantastic ambassadors for the city. Tonight, plans for a big development come to a halt in Park City. KAKE's Jessica Crawford is here with the big reversal and why the plans may not be off the table for good. Jessica?
Well, Deb, the community is celebrating what it considers a victory after the city council prevented it from being built in the area for now.
Big plans for this area scrapped, and that's just what some in and around Park City wanted.
This truck stop is pretty controversial in Valley Center. Nobody in my neighborhood wants it there. My wife doesn't want it there.
A developer had planned to put a truck stop near a residential area on the corner of 85th and Broadway in Park City, an idea unpopular with some vocal members of the community.
But I'm trying to make this as a first-class truck stop.
Lou Robelli, who purchased the land, pleading his case to council members and the public Tuesday night. His plan to create a modern travel center, which he says would have created between 50 and 75 well-paying jobs. An idea met with concern from area residents.
We're concerned that you're putting something in a place that's going to be wildly busy because of all of the Amazon and all of the truck areas and all that kind of things. I would be surprised if you would have spaces for 80 trucks where it wouldn't be filled all the time.
Concerns heard by Park City Council just before they came to a decision that'll lead this developer back to the drawing board.
Aye.
The fate of this plot of land in Park City still yet to be decided.
The fight isn't necessarily over. Developers have 30 days to appeal this decision with a local court. In the studio, I'm Jessica Crawford, KAKE News on your side.
In part because of a KAKE News investigation, Sedgwick County is looking at supporting changes to state law when it comes to suspended driver's license. KAKE News investigator Pilar Pedraza first brought you the problem about a year ago, and tonight she continues to follow the story. Pilar.
After a series began airing last year, lawmakers across the state took up the issue and changes were about to happen, but then the pandemic hit. Now reformers say it's time to bring the issue back into the spotlight. In October of 2019, the state of Kansas reported more than 213,000 suspended driver's licenses in the state, roughly half of them in Sedgwick County alone. Lawmakers told us that most of those drivers get behind the wheel anyway, causing all of our insurance to be more expensive. The Criminal Justice Reform Commission just this week made 2 requests from state lawmakers. One, that as long as a driver is paying off their fines and fees, the state automatically give the driver a restricted license to help them keep being able to go to work. And if they have several citations, say like driving without insurance, speeding, and running a stop sign, they should only pay once to get their license reinstated instead of paying a fee for every citation. Sedgwick County Commissioner Jim Howell is among those pushing for changes to this law.
Right now, the fees rack up so quickly that when someone gets down that rabbit hole, they can never get back out. And that's the problem. So we need to throw our weight behind this because this has been a festering issue for many, many years, and it's actually getting worse.
While lawmakers were looking at 3 different bills last year that would have dealt with several of these issues and a few others, they'll have to start over again from scratch when they go back to Topeka in January. Pilar Pedraza, KAKE News, investigates.
All right, changing gears, beautiful fall day here in Wichita. Sunny, calm, nice temperatures.
Yep, sun going down. It's going to cool down quickly, I have a feeling. Meteorologist Jay Prater joins us live. And Jay, what do you have for us?
Well, let's take a look out, and you'll see a little cloud cover on the horizon. A really beautiful twilight. It is 48 degrees. The wind's out of the southeast at 6 miles per hour. We're going to be at 46 at 7, 44 at 8 o'clock, and cooling down to 41 degrees at 10. Again, mostly clear, and the winds will be out of the southeast 5 to 10 miles per hour. Tonight's going to be another cold night, but it won't be as cold as it was this morning. We'll talk about that. And also a little bit of a cool down, little weak cold front will be moving through KAKE land, but no rain with it. That's coming up.
Our Wichita Business is honoring the men and women who have served our country on this Veterans Day. That's next.
This is KAKE News at 6 with Deb Ferris, Craig Negrelli, Sports with Chris Lilly, and your KAKE First Alert Forecast with meteorologist Jay Prater. KAKE News on your side.
Today is Veterans Day, and due to the pandemic, many of the usual ways to honor them have been canceled or postponed.
But a local business found a way to shine the spotlight on our vets and be safe. KAKE photojournalist Nolan Roth has the images.
We came here and raised another flag. That's the flag we raised for the first time here at Chicken and Pickle. Them putting the flags up is an honor. It's an honor to see businesses put up flags. I wish every business and every household would put up a flag, just as a tribute to our country and to the people that fought and died for our country. The more American flags, the better. We live in this country. Doesn't matter what side of the political aisle you're on, that flag represents all of us. And that's the way it should be looked at. There's homeless veterans out there. There's disabled veterans out there. I just feel lucky that that as of right now, I'm able and can get around. My goal is just to bring more awareness to the veterans that need our support from the community.
And we do appreciate all of those veterans out there. Thank you so much for your service. Coming up in sports, who's interested in the Wichita State job if it becomes available, and who former players want to see leading the Sharks.
Now, your KAKE First Alert forecast with meteorologist Jay Prater.
Well, as the sky was clearing out last night, the temperatures really chilled down. The coldest temperatures were across western Kansas. We got into the teens. I was thinking lower 20s, but Mother Nature really overperformed. 18, Goodland, St. Francis, as cold as 16 in Scott City last night, 19 in Syracuse and Johnson. Got down to 28 Wichita, 24 in Hutch, and 25 in Salida. Now, we got the sunshine back. Take a little while in southwest Kansas, but notice how the vast majority of the state warmed well into the 50s. Along the north of I-70, you'll be lucky to get out of the 40s tomorrow because a surge of cooler air is on the way back in. As we look at outside the KAKE studios, it is, mostly clear. Got a little bit of high cloud cover there on the horizon. We're at 51 degrees, and the winds are pretty light. Same thing we head up the road to Hutch. It's mostly clear right now. We're atop the First National Bank building on Main Street, and it's 54. Let's go back to 7 o'clock this morning at Fort Hays State. Right at the corner of the screen, there's the sun popping up. Plenty of sunshine, and then a few high clouds start streaking in occasionally as we get through the afternoon, and we're going to have some occasional high clouds early overnight tonight. Right now, we're at 48 degrees, and the winds are pretty light, only gusting to about 6 miles per hour. Southwest Kansas, cloud cover is a little bit thicker here. We'll call it mostly clear overnight tonight. We're at 43 currently, and our final camera stop, it is mostly clear in Goodland. What's left of the twilight, and 34 degrees at Renner Field. So temperatures across Cake Land, you got 48 right now in Salina, 45 in Great Bend, 47 in Lyons. The winds going to stay fairly light overnight tonight, but we'll get a little gusty as we get into the day tomorrow. Here we are with the past 12 hours. There's all that sunshine, and then notice the cloud cover kind of streaking in. It's not going to rain, and that little area cloud cover is going to move right on through as you look at the KAKE cast. So by tomorrow, we're back at a lot of sunshine, and then, a cold front comes through. A dry front, not going to be a super chill down like we've had in the past, but it's going to knock temperatures back from what we had today as those winds shift out of the north. Overnight tomorrow night, mostly clear, and then Friday, temperatures are going to rebound a bit, along with some cloud cover. And if you'll notice, late in the afternoon, for south central Kansas, southeast Kansas, I'm going to put in a small chance of a shower that'll linger into Friday night, and then that's going to clear out. By tomorrow morning, not as cold. Still cold, but we're talking 20s out west, 30s eastern half of the state instead of teens in western Kansas. And then tomorrow afternoon, highs northern half of the state, mid and upper 40s, still into the 50s, but I think mid 50s in Wichita. And then as we get into Friday morning, lows down into the 20s pretty much statewide. And by Friday afternoon, we're looking at a return of warmer temperatures across western Kansas, but Wichita will be lucky to get to about 50 degrees. Light winds tonight. We start picking up the breeze tomorrow. So it becomes breezy central Kansas into south central Kansas around lunch, and then it quickly starts to kind of settle down, and then it ramps right back up on Friday. The winds picking up out of the south as we're going to warm up. The weekend's going to start warmer and then chill down on Sunday with some really strong winds coming out of the north. So for Wichita and south central Kansas tonight, mostly clear and cold. Not as cold, 34 in Wichita, 32 in Hutch. Tomorrow, sunny, cool, the high 56, 52 in Hutch. The winds becoming northwest and could see some gusts to around 30 miles per hour in the early afternoon. and then 52 Friday. There's that small shower chance Friday night. Saturday, breezy winds push us into the upper 60s, and then very gusty winds knock us back down to the upper 50s on Sunday, and then kind of a mild warming trend into the mid 60s by Wednesday. North central Kansas tonight, freezing but not as cold. 30 haze, 32 in Salina. Tomorrow, sunny, breezy, a little cooler. 47 haze, 48 in Salina. We're not going to rebound into the 50s. And then 50 on Friday, breezy, warming up to the upper 60s on Saturday, windy and cooling down to the upper 50s. But by midweek Wednesday, we're back into the mid 60s again. And for western Kansas tonight, southwest, some occasional cloud cover, not as cold, 20s and 30s. Still below freezing, though. Northwest Kansas, lower 20s to upper 20s. And then tomorrow, the winds out of the north, gust to 25. And notice it, no 50s in northwest Kansas, upper 40s. And even southwest Kansas, most places are going to knock down the temperature a few degrees. 70 on Saturday in southwest Kansas, followed immediately by a day back in the 50s. Another warm up, and then another front comes through. And even northwest Kansas, you're going to warm up to 66 Saturday, then chill down to 48 on Sunday with gusty winds. But we'll be back into the 60s starting on Tuesday.
All right, thanks, Jay. Well, the death of George Floyd at the hands of a Minneapolis police officer prompted protests, but it's also prompted change within police departments nationwide. It's a new program that uses a four-letter word to empower police to hold each other accountable. KAKE News investigator Pilar Pedraza traveled to our state's capital, where police are in training with a new program that's seen success in other cities. Our series, Kansas Law and Order, continues tonight on KAKE News at 10. And we continue tracking that breaking news from just west of the city of Mulvane. Investigators on the scene of a crash.
Here's what we know at this point. The collision happened about an hour and a half ago at 119th Street South and Oliver. As you can see, our photographer has made it to the scene, and you see a picture from that scene. It appears a pickup truck and a small sedan involved in that wreck. We understand that at least one person was hurt. We will have an update tonight on KAKE News at 10.
Now with sports from all across KAKE Land. Here is KAKE Sports anchor Chris Lilly.
Greg Marshall is still the head coach at WSU, but today I learned that the school reached out to Danny Manning's agent about a potential opening with the Shockers. Manning is a KU legend and was most recently the head coach at Wake Forest. Manning was fired by Wake Forest after the 2020 season. He was the head coach there for 6 years and made it to the NCAA tournament once. Before leading the Demon Deacons, Manning was the head coach at Tulsa for 2 seasons. Manning was also on Bill Self's staff at KU for 9 years, and he helped lead the Jayhawks to a national championship in 2008. And as a player, Manning also won a national title in a Jayhawk uniform. His record as a head coach, though, is 78-111. Also today, I learned that Wichita native Adrian Griffin would be interested in the WSU job if it were to come open, saying he really wants the job. Griffin is currently an assistant coach for the Toronto Raptors. He was a key member of the staff when the Raptors won the finals 2 years ago. He grew up in Wichita and graduated from Wichita East. After 9 years in the league, he's become one of the top assistants in the NBA, and it has his sights on being a head coach somewhere. His son also is a top recruit and signed to Duke today. During this investigation into Marshall, some of the most successful Shockers in the pros have been quiet, including Fred VanVleet, but he's developed a close relationship with Griffin from their time with the Raptors. And in September, VanVleet gave his support for Griffin and said that he should be a head coach one day. And it's always good to have options, but if WSU and Marshall do part ways, WSU is up against the clock because in exactly 2 weeks, the Shockers are set to tip off the season. So it could make the most sense to promote within. And former Shocker Rashard Kelly took to Twitter last night to give his 2 cents on the situation. He gave his support for current WSU assistant Isaac Brown, saying Brown should get the head coaching job, saying, quote, "Watch the atmosphere be more electric than when Marshall had it. Yeah, WSU got the talent, but you got to let the dogs be dogs and hoop. Players sell tickets, not coaches." Here's a little background on Brown. He's regarded as one of the top assistants in the American. Brown has been an assistant for Marshall at WSU for 6 years, and he's done wonders for WSU's front court, working with Jaime Echenike, Kelly, and Shaq Morris, to name a few. Brown is entering his 18th season as an assistant coach, and he's also had stops in Arkansas and Arkansas State. And that's it for KAKE News at 6. We'll be right back.
We'll see you again at 9 on Fox Kansas News at 9, then back here for KAKE News at 10.
Good night.
For breaking news and your most accurate local forecast, KAKE News is on air, online, and on your mobile. KAKE News, on your side.